Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome tonight. And Sim, thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. If you are still supporting this administration presently, you are part of the world's problem, not just only part of United States of American problem. You are part of world problem. Because at this point, life is being lost. Jobs are being lost. Homes are being lost. People are not able to pay their bills, Medicaid, medicals, and all of that. Things are becoming unbearable. They cut US aid and all that. And some countries are actually being affected. But if it is Africans that are being affected, I am in support of it. Why? Because it's time for us to also stand up and do the right thing by ourselves, for ourselves. Yes. Yes. Enough of depending and hoping that the Western worlds are your Messiah when you are the real Messiah. Yeah. If you look around, you definitely will see that so many Black people have lost their job. And thank you all so much for all the people that voted MAGA. Sincerely speaking, each time I look at some people and I ask them, you had two persons that contested for the last election. That is Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. How did you people wake up and say it is Mr. Orange Man? The truth is that some people do not ever want to see anybody that associates herself or himself as a Black person, or they do not ever want to see you prosper. And now you all can see how everyone's life is at this point in time. Let's get into this.
Lord Jesus, I hope this is real. Please let this be real.
If only Donald Trump was president in the 20th century, so much could have been avoided. The First World War, the Second World War, the nuclear arms race, the Cold War, Trump could have prevented all of it. After all, his surname is Ceasefire. We know that all politicians are full of themselves. They can be arrogant and boastful. But Trump is one step ahead. He is shamelessly full of himself. And we saw an example of that yesterday. The White House openly demanded a Nobel Peace Prize for Donald Trump. Listen to this.
The president has now ended conflicts between Thailand and Cambodia, Israel and Iran, Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, India and Pakistan, Serbia and Kosovo, and Egypt and Ethiopia. This means President Trump has brokered, on average, about one peace deal or ceasefire per month during his 6 months in office. It's well past time that President Trump was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize.
I think she missed a few there, like Tom and Jerry, Harry Potter and Voldemort, Batman and the Joker, and Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. If you're going to make fake claims, might as well go all in. It's been a hallmark of Donald Trump. He claims credit for everything. What's worse, he wants global recognition for it. In other words, he wants the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, just to be clear, a lot of unworthy people have received this prize. A lot of unworthy people have also been nominated for it. But none of them asked for it. I mean, this is not a reality TV contest. It's not like you can send an SMS to Norway nominating Donald Trump. You must let your actions speak. So let's look at Trump's actions. We mentioned his bombing record earlier on the show. Trump has dropped 530 bombs in 6 months. To put that in context, his predecessor, Joe Biden, dropped 555 bombs over his whole presidency, 4 years. Trump has dropped 530 in 6 months. Not very peaceful, is it? Let's also look at aid cuts. Trump has cut 80% of America's foreign aid. That's almost $60 billion of help. And we are talking about life-saving help, like vaccination campaigns, remote health centers, public health services, and medicine distribution. What will be the impact of these cuts? Medical journal Lancet has done some research. They say the aid cuts could cause 14 million deaths by 2030. I'll repeat that for you. 14 million deaths due to Trump's aid cut. And a third of those are children. Does this sound like a peace laureate to you? Does this sound like a respectable statesman? The answer is no. Someone tell Trump that typing in all caps is not diplomacy, plus it's out of fashion. Gen Z would be horrified by the all caps. This is the era of small Ks. But coming back to his credit fever, as a species, we should be more thankful to Trump. Thanks to his negotiations with God, the sun rises every day. Thanks to his mediation, ships can sail on the ocean. If not for him, gravity would not exist. Give us a break. Americans can vote for whoever they want to. Just don't expect the world to fall in line. I can think of a dozen people who deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. Trump is certainly not one of them. And I'll tell you what disqualifies him. It's not just what he is doing now. It's what he will do if he wins the prize. I can guarantee that Trump will sell a Nobel experience at Mar-a-Lago. You can come, click pictures with the prize and go. Just $500. Chances are he will also sell Nobel-themed belt buckles and baseball cards. Again, just $100 each. But jokes aside, there are too many reasons to disqualify Trump. You've got casual sexism. You've got sexual assault allegations. You've got casual racism. You've got Islamophobia. And you've got actual warmongering. Take your pick. There are two kinds of leaders in this world. One who leave the world a better place. The other who leave it worse than they found it. And Trump is clearly in category 2. We suggest he take up a new obsession and leave us alone. In fact, I've got an idea. There is a country in Africa with vast reserves of rare earth elements. It's called Wakanda. If US officials are listening, get Trump on the job. Urge him to sign a deal with them. If anyone can, it's Donald Diplomacy Trump.
I don't know if it's real. I didn't do any real deep searching to find out if it was real. I hope it's real. And I hope it continues because, yeah, Donald Trump and his administration, there's no silencing the media that's outside of the United States. They will not bow down to or capitulate to Donald Trump. Second, I want to see more of this because for whatever reason, Donald Trump thinks he's respected around the world. That news report proves that to them, Donald Trump is nothing more than a joke. And unfortunately, they look at the rest of us as if we're jokes. Shout out to MAGA nuts.
There's still 3.5 years left of this. Let's remember that there's not gonna be an impeachment. Let's just accept that. It's not gonna fucking happen. So with 3.5 years left, and we take into account what we've seen so far this year alone, one of the biggest things that we haven't seen an attack on full-fledged just yet, but we're starting to see it more and more every day, is Donald Trump's attack on free speech, the First Amendment. His recent posts about how news networks are so clearly left-leaning or pro-Democrat and things like that, that is his response when the country is upset with his presidency. We've seen the news networks bend the knees and the shows being canceled. And slowly but surely, the news that we get is being tailored by the Trump administration. People who might have been brave enough to speak out have betrayed their bravery. We're heavily relying upon independent media and independent news sources. And we're not even through the first 8 months, guys. It is very dangerous when you have the leader of a country act the way Donald Trump acts when it comes to being questioned or to people being clearly upset with him or not on board with his decisions. When you have a man that won't hear you but will only attack the words you are speaking to him because those words are not praising and worshiping who he is and what he's accomplished, that is dangerous. I think we're looking at something more dangerous than just a dictator or an autocrat or somebody that wants total control. Like you can't say anything to this guy. You can't say a fucking word to Donald Trump. There's no point in Donald Trump having advisors because he doesn't listen to anybody. One of the most beautiful parts about being an American is your freedom of speech. I am a strong believer in there needs to be a bigger penalty, a larger punishment for hate speech. You should not just get to go outside and say, yeah, I'm a racist, yeah, I'm a white supremacist, and then go on about your day. There needs to be a penalty for hate speech when it comes to racism, misogyny, violence, whatever it may be, right? But when you say, hey, Donald Trump, I don't agree with what ICE is doing right now and the way you lied to the American people saying that you were only going after criminals based on the tragedies we've seen this year alone, you've clearly lied to the American people. I have a problem with that. That's me and millions of Americans using their freedom of speech. Or even something as simple as warning people about what tariffs would do to the economy. And his only response is, oh man, we got to do something about these news networks. So when he says shit like that, what do you think this new TikTok app is going to be from Oracle? Do you think that's going to be an app you can open up and spread the news? Do you think you can be an independent news source? We're turning into Russia. North Korea. News controlled, speaking out against the powers that be is a jailable offense. You might just disappear and nobody ever hears from you again. That's not America. You are losing your country. The same people who have been defending their Second Amendment rights since the day they could adequately speak the English language are the same people supporting the loss of the First Amendment. You are allowed to talk shit about and disagree with and speak out against the president, the Speaker of the House, the vice president, your local congressman, the governor, the mayor, a police officer, that neighbor you hate. You can use your freedom of speech however the fuck you want. Like to see a man who's so fucking weak to the point where you can't even say anything bad about him, to where he needs to call for your prosecution. This fucking Gillette Maxwell bitch, whatever her fucking name is, he's more concerned about wishing her well and falsely saying that Kamala Harris needs to be prosecuted than he is about any of the concerns he told y'all he was going to fix within 24 hours of his presidency. I just don't get it. Is how you handle your haters not a sign of strength? Is being able to take criticism and respond accordingly not a sign of strength, not a sign of an intelligent and capable leader? How is self-destructing and attacking every single news source and journalist that isn't on board with your administration, how is that a sign of strength? How is that a strong leader? I just don't understand that for the life of me. They're literally telling you that the Democrats lied in the Epstein files and that even if they get released, don't believe them, because even if Trump's name is in there, it was just all made up by the Democrats, so why would you believe it? And there are enough people within MAGA that will accept that fucking bullshit and continue to push the goalpost even further. When we have literal years of Epstein files and evidence and pictures and all this shit, with every arrow and spotlight pointing to Donald Trump being affiliated with Jeffrey Epstein in depth, he takes his age-old tactic and said, oh, well, that's fake. You can't believe the fake news is probably put there by a Democrat. You can't believe the Democrats. The news that isn't on board with what I'm doing and me as the president right now, that's fake as well. My name might be in the Epstein files. If it is, that's fake. Those 34 felonies that I got convicted of, that's fake as well. Everything bad about me is fake. And everything good that I tell you, whether you have evidence of it or not, is true, and you shouldn't question it. It should be embarrassing to support Donald Trump. It should be like one of those secrets that you can't change, but you try your best to take it to your grave. Like, you should be fully embarrassed that you support a man who will call everything against him a fake attack, regardless of how much evidence is on the table. At this point, you could say, Donald Trump, you are a white man. And if his mind, if he didn't want to be a white man, he would say, no, that's fake. Race is fake. I'm blue. And his fucking supporters would find a way to push that narrative. I like my freedom of speech. I love my freedom of speech. My freedom of speech is very close to my heart. And I don't think the majority of the American people are going to sit by the wayside and watch it be attacked and threatened. And when we speak facts, it's just called the falsehoods of the left and shit like that. I don't think that the majority of Americans are going to sit here and let their country turn into Russia. Maybe if Republicans and MAGA did some shit that people were proud of, that made Americans proud to be an American, maybe they wouldn't have to attack the media the way they do. Maybe the media would paint your administration in a more positive light if you did something positive. This is the most pitiful man we've seen in a very long time.
Super Save a Hoe and Company, the folks that are going around talking about the accountability archive and who went to Starbucks and McDonald's, are a distraction. They are the greatest threat we face towards winning the midterms. They are misinformation factories grounded and rooted in violent ignorance. They don't care that little 4-year-old girls with brain cancer are being deported. They don't care that 14 million people are going to lose their health care. They don't care about any of that. What they care about is being right. And even when they're not, just so they're clear, and the most dangerous people you can face is someone who thinks that their crusade to be right and morally police the rest of us is more important than people having health care, is more important than people not being brutalized and deported, is more important than those with disabilities being impacted by losing said health care. These people don't care. They don't care that the Secretary of Education confused AI and A1 sauce. They don't care. They don't care that students with disabilities are going to be impacted by the shuttering of most of the Department of Education. They don't care. Okay? They aren't interested. They are only interested in talking about a G0t happening across the globe that they really aren't actually doing anything for. They're spending their time arguing about Starbucks and McDonald's. An Egg McMuffin isn't going to stop what's happening in Gaza. Okay? New elected officials are. And if they spend half the time telling people not to vote, as they did registering people to vote, perhaps the candidates that they wanted to win would win. They just want to scream and holler and be in charge. They want to be the ones holding the whips. Fuck them.
This is all I got from this video, and all I can say is that this administration has done so many horrible things to human beings. Horrible things. And it's been how many months so far? And it has not been anything great. The fact that some people are still defending this administration tells the kind of people you are. See, I don't care. If you are trying to defend this administration, you are not a good person. I mean, there is something moral, like you are not morally upright. I said what I said. And now let me tell you something. Like the last brother talked about how some people, there is something that I have noticed about people that are so much agitating for Palestinian rights. I am also agitating for that, so that life will be easier for them, so that people in Gaza will not have to go through some certain kinds of horrible things, because so far it's really been a very hard time for them. But there are some people, the only thing they talk about is just the only thing going on in Gaza. right? You all are also seeing what is happening in Black community. I am not seeing them talk about it. I am not seeing them talk about, kids, like it's talked about kids with cancer, that they are being deported, children that are sick, that are being, families that are not, that are in the hospital, right? Or probably people that went to hospital to get medical treatment and they were raided by ICE or bounty hunters that are being sent away, deported. They don't talk about that. See, let me tell you something. If you must be, because majority of all these Palestinian movement acts like they are really righteous. Like, I don't know, but that's how I see them. You must really be righteous all around, because there is no righteous person on earth. But if you must act like one, be a righteous all around. Talk about what is going on all around. Black people are going through it. I do not see any of you talk about it. The worst part is that each time I wake up every day, I see some certain things happening to my own community. Like a Black man is probably, if it's not missing, maybe somebody peep you somewhere and all that. Like all these bad things are going on. And I am not seeing people talk about it. And then in the end, when you are very loud about what is going on in your community, they will tell you that your own, you being outspoken is overshadowing their own problem. How is that even possible? How is that possible? You don't speak about what is going on in your community. I speak about what is going on in my community. And you are blaming me for talking about it so much. That is because I talk about it. That's why your own community do not get enough coverage or something. You are such a liar. You are a liar. This administration has done so many horrible things. See, like they said, freedom of speech is okay, but after it, not with this administration, because the next, I do not know what it's going to happen. That is how bad it is. And the worst part, or the funniest part, is that they are dumb. The administration is very dumb. They are ignorant. They don't even know, they are clueless. That is how bad it is. Tell me how somebody that said he is going to deport how many people, he started deporting them, and life is actually very hard for them, and they are looking for a way to bring back the people you deported. Was it not with money that you deported those people? That is how clueless they are, because if they have thinking faculty, right? Trust me, this is something they would have sat down and think of before even thinking of sending people back home. And the people that work closely with them are just ignorant as anyway. From beginning to the end, of the people that work with him do not have any experience of government work or something. They are just people they picked from nowhere to become probably aides and all that. And I am going to ask white people also, how did you people wake up and say, is this man that is going to be your president? Because at this point, it is screaming that the poorly educated are absolutely, like you all are poorly educated. But yeah, this is the situation everybody have found. And the worst part is that a majority of the things happening in the United States is also affecting other people in different countries, because you all know how, economically, and it's affecting other people too. Some people trying to import cars and other to other, from other country, from United States to other country. It's really on a very high level, Yeah, but it is what it is. Everybody have to buckle up. What I keep telling Africans is that you all have to channel your inner strength around yourselves, and stop doing some kind of importation from other countries, from that country. You know what the country I'm talking about? Yeah. Look for a way to sort yourselves out. Look for a way to settle yourself. Because trust me, if Africans eventually settle themselves, it is all over for the Westerners. Bye for now.